Welcome back, dads. It is the Fathericity podcast. It's Jermaine, and I'm here once again with my co-host Charlie. And yeah, we're back.
Barely. I'm barely back, man. It has been a rough couple weeks since we had our last one.
Yeah, we just call it our winter break. We went on a winter break, so a lot of things going on. A lot of things going on with family responsibilities. As Tommy would say in the Rugrats, responsibilities or whatever he says, berry bees. So lots of stuff going on, but we are back with a interesting topic. Something I didn't think we'd talk about and the way we're going to discuss it today, but it's going to be interesting, I think.
Oh, I thought we'd have to talk about it, man. It's taken over the world. How could you not talk about it?
Well, I know from on my end it has. I'm a teacher. So without any, let's stop teasing it. So dads, listeners, we're talking about Chat GPT, artificial intelligence. Now, not in the sense of how it's going to change the world, but rather how we're going to address today's topic. And that is how we as dads are viewed differently by society than moms are. So, if you're not aware of Chat GPT, it's artificial intelligence, it's open. The more information it receives from people, the better it gets. And it just, you ask it a question, it'll give you a prompt and it gives you a very clear, clean, and concise answer. And we're going to compare notes today and see what artificial intelligence says about fatherhood versus motherhood in our society today.
And if we agree or disagree. Because I
Yeah.
don't know. I may disagree with iRobot over there. There may be some differences in there.
Well, I will say this as an educator, we are freaking out about it just because once the kids really get a hold of it, and we don't think they have yet, once the students get a hold of it and really understand what it is and how to use it, it's going to change how we educate students and how they go about content
Well,
and how we have to address, assessing what they've learned. If they can just type it in the computer and get an answer.
I feel like that's okay though. I mean, it's time to update our educational system. Agree or disagree with that?
No, it's gonna be different. It's not. I'm not saying it's better. Not saying it's worse. It's just gonna be different. Like someone said, and this is an educator that said it. Um, how did teachers feel when the calculator came out
Yep.
and there was no more just pen and paper? Like that changed the game when computers became the norm. How did that change the game? We've adjusted to it every time it's happened. We just have to adjust again.
That's right.
And just to say, oh, this kid's cheating, he got it on artificial intelligence. If that's what they're all using, we just got to find a way to spin it and let them use that and then still try to figure out how can they be critical thinkers and how can they assess what, as we're trying to do tonight, how the artificial intelligence answered the question. What holes can we find? What human aspects is the computer missing? So, I mean, it's gonna be a work in progress for sure in education. So we're gonna look at it here tonight.
Yeah, well, I would think the critical thinking would turn out to be much like with stuff you already have, like Google and YouTube and all these search engines that they already have anyway. It's a lot of how you ask and word the question depends on what answer you're going to get. Because so now you have to learn how to do that better. So just
Yeah.
for everybody out there, tell us exactly what you asked Chat GPT to give us on this first list.
So this is what I typed in: ways dads are judged differently than mothers. That's what I typed in the Chat GPT.
Okay, so just ways dads are judged differently than mothers.
Yes. And I've got five. It came up with five. It comes first, it started with a disclaimer. And it says, I'm a quote from Chat GPT. You can't try to sue me, internet. Unfortunately, fathers and mothers are often judged differently in our society.
Hold on,
And
hold on.
this
Stop
can
right
have
there.
a
Stop right there. Stop right there. Why does it say unfortunately? Like, what does Chat GPT think is unfortunate about the fact that we're judged differently? Why would Chat GPT care that we're judged differently?
Dude, I don't know. You're attacking the internet,
No,
the
I
AI
mean, I'm just wondering. Okay, so we're
first
putting a lot of
word
stock
in.
in this, but they just start off by apologizing by saying it's unfortunate that dads and moms are looked at different. When I mean, I don't understand that.
So here's, well, if you let me finish the statement, this might answer your question.
Okay, all right.
So again, unfortunately, mothers and fathers are often judged differently in our society. And this have a number of negative consequences on both the parents and their children. Some ways dads are judged differently than mothers include, and then they give you a list of five, and every different reason has a little explanation behind it. So
Okay,
the
okay. So hold
unfortunately
on,
is
hold
just
on.
saying,
So it also said so it was unfortunate that we're judged different, and there it has negative impacts. Did it
it
say
can have a number of negative consequences on both the parents and their kids.
negative consequences? Again, how would AI know what is a negative content?
So again, it's just pulling information from everything. And the more that people use
So
the chat,
basically,
again, I'm probably not the first person to use this. So the
there's been
more,
papers and books written that say these are negative impacts, and
yeah,
that somebody wrote a book that said, they weren't excited about the different ways that moms and dads are looked at. It was unfortunate that moms and dads are looked at different.
baby. I mean, it's still a baby.
It's still a
It's
baby.
artificial intelligence in this sense. To be able to look at it on your phone and type in a question is still in its infancy. And every day it gets more and more information, more and more data points, more and more, even better at crafting an answer that is not so stock and more creative in terms of the word I've seen used is creative burst. Sometimes Chat GPT, OpenAI is very formulaic in how they answer their questions. And so
But isn't that
they
kind of what
say
you
as
want
it
from your
progresses, it's
AI?
going to get better. It's going to end up being more conversational as opposed to more academic.
I don't know. I figured I would want my artificial intelligence to be kind of matter of factly statement and not put a lot of uh I don't know, tonality or like feeling, I guess, into it, or to see how it was going to be most easily accepted by the audience. Because man, that's kind of the way it feels whenever it says that. I mean, it's like easing you into its answer.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it does that, maybe it doesn't on everything. This is kind of a touchy topic, but either way, okay. So we've got to the fact that I don't like some of the way that it presents its information, but let's just see. Okay, what did it come up with? So
Okay.
what was the number one?
Charlie thinks AI is Skynet. Now, I will say this based on reading it, it doesn't seem like it's doing it in terms of most important to least important. It's not ranking them. It
Okay,
just spit out five. It just spit out five. So it's not saying the first one I read off is the best or the worst, and the fifth one is, with all that. The first one just says as follows: how are dads judged differently than mothers? Include one, lowered expectations. Chat AI open. Blah, 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 blah. The AI says this: fathers are often not held to the same high standards as mothers when it comes to parenting. For example, they may not be expected to be as nurturing, attentive, or involved in their children's lives. Agree or disagree?
I can't disagree with that.
Yeah. I literally just changed my son's the nastiest diaper I think I changed in 2 years.
Right, and you want a gold star for it, even though your
I don't
mom
want to go
probably
start for it. I
changed
wish I
way
could
more.
had a
Yeah.
hazmat suit when I was wearing it, but no, I mean changing it. But no, like I mean, I've gotten that before. Like we talked about it before we started recording. Like if you're at the store with your kids, if I'm at the store with my son and mom isn't around and we're just doing bare minimum, we're looked at as fathers as rock star parents. Like, oh, you're amazing. You handle your child so well. Like, no, he's eating Cheetos out the bag I haven't paid for yet and is sucking down the Dr. Pepper. I'm not doing that great.
Yeah, yeah. You were spending time with your son. That's
I'm spending
great.
time with my kid. Yeah, that's it. Like, don't give me a shiny gold star. I don't need a sticker for being present with my son's life. But that happens sometimes.
But as that is, that's a big deal in today's society, having the opportunity and following through with that opportunity to spend time with your kids.
Yeah, just being there. For a lot of dads, it's crazy in today's society. If you're just present, visible, let me not even say present. If you're visible as a father,
Yeah.
you're viewed to be better than most other dads.
Yeah, because I mean the world we live in has kind of pulled that away. I was listening, I want to say it was on a TikTok or something like that, but a guy was on my way home this evening, a guy was outlining like I'm trying to think what it was. It was how wages stagnated in the 70s. You know, we had for 150 years or whatever through our society, every generation made more and had a better quality of life and everything like that until about the 70s, at which point there was some automation kind of entered into factories to where jobs were kind of moved around a little bit, and anyway wages stagnated for a majority of Americans. You had inflation still went up and cost of living went up and all these things, but wages kind of hit a point and stayed there. So instead of the government stepping in or doing any of that, they kind of said, okay, well, y'all figure it out. And what we as a society come up with was debt became our answer to stagnated wages, right? So we would just borrow the money that we weren't making to where we could have still have more stuff than the previous generation did. And that fed into where we're at now, right? And I apologize for coughing, everybody. This is killing me. But okay. So what that did is that took a lot of moms then started having careers and getting jobs around that same time. And that took it to where you had to work more hours in order to make more money, which we see a lot. So people had to have sometimes two jobs, three jobs, or a lot of overtime in order to make up that difference for the wage stagnation. So what that did is that made fathers, especially, there was another segment, and if some women that were now out of the home and not with the family as much. But for dads, you had to find a way to do that and be successful. So go and work two jobs, work a lot of overtime, and basically be less present with your family in order to provide that generational, kind of step up the ladder that we had seen for so many years. And that was just how we did it. So, and because of kind of that societal shift, that's when it all kind of happened, was around the mid to early 70s.
So you're saying it's been like the last 50 years
About the last
since
50 years, yes.
that dads have kind of the economy and everything kind of
Well,
forced dads to
okay,
be more away from home.
more away from home. But again, before that, let's not pretend like dads were involved in every part of it, because if they had a homestead, dad was out fixing fence and tending to the livestock and doing all these things too. So yeah, he was there. He probably could take his kids with him and kind of grow them up and taking care of that. But I don't think, and even in the 50s, like when they got jobs, 50s and 60s, okay, when they had regular jobs, it was still, I mean, I think a 9 to 5 culture was probably pretty, that was working quite a bit back then, I would guess.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, I think it just kind of in the last 50 years, we've seen an explosion in the amount people are willing to work and be away from their family to offset to be able to provide them for the things that they want the next generation to have, and as we step up our lifestyles.
So
So
are moms doing that now?
a lot of moms, as it's progressed, a lot of moms have had to get out of the house. I mean, if you look at what is it, it's going to be somewhere around, I don't know the numbers. We could probably look this up. We could ask AI, but I'm going to say, what do you think? 70% of American households are dual income?
Um, I don't even want to take a guess at that. I would
Oh,
say it's
hold on.
probably a
Hold on.
little lower than
Let's
that.
ask Google. How many so you think it's lower than that?
I mean, I'm not saying it's like greatly lower, but I think 70 might be a little high. And the reason why I say that is because we talked about this before too. Daycare is so expensive. I was just read an article this afternoon that said that most moms are now starting to go back to the house
So we finally
to
got to a
be
tipping
stay-at-home
point.
moms because they're making it costs so much for daycare that they're spending anywhere up to 25 to 40% of their income monthly on just childcare.
Okay. What if I okay, so it's 53% and
See,
rising.
yeah, they 50. Yeah, I was thinking 50-ish. I thought 70 was a little high.
Here's the problem with that though. I just asked how many are dual income households, right?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't include any single parent homes. So think about that. So the moms in single parents homes generally have to go have some kind of job. And I'm trying to think back to my grandparents. I can tell you my grandparents on one side of my family were dual income even back in the 50s, as early as the 50s. They were dual income, and another one was single income and grew up more on a homestead farm, day labor in that kind of work area. So let's see. Let's see. Let's just search what percentage of American homes are. Everybody loves that. We just go to Google for all our research.
Yeah. You're hating on AI, and now you're going back to the original AI, which was Google.
Yeah, I know. I know. Let's see. Our single income. Let's just do single parents. Okay. So, what do you think this is surprising to me. What do you think the rate of single parent households in the world is? And the US
Twelve
leads
percent.
this, by the way. The US leads this.
12%.
Hold on, let's see. So around the world, the average rate of single parenthood is 7%.
Okay, I said 12.
Okay.
Figures a little high. I should have asked if it was a double-digit number, but yeah, I didn't go like 30% though, so I figured it was a fairly low number.
Yeah. Where is, of course.
What's the United States? Does it say that?
That's what I'm trying to find. Let's see. A quarter of children under the age of 18 live in a single parent household.
Wow.
25%.
Well, I'm a statistic then because I was raised by a single mom.
Right.
So
But
yeah,
I mean, think about that. 25% of
I mean that's
children.
the average. And I know straight up where we're at, where I work at, the kids I deal with, the kids that I teach. I'm sure that number is a whole lot higher.
Than 25%?
I would I would I would almost say that number is a lot higher than 25%. I could be completely wrong though. I don't I'm sure that number is written down somewhere
That's
online. If I will, we there's demographics for everything. So
yeah.
I'm sure that's a demographic we
Man,
look
that's a
at.
big number, man. That's nationwide. Think about that.
Yeah, it's one in every four homes.
I
I'm saying,
mean,
like, yeah, I don't doubt it. Like, I grew up a single and a single mother with a single mom. Like, it's
yeah.
for the longest time, it's all I knew. So, I mean, That doesn't, the number sounds almost to me too low, just because I grew up in that, and everybody I grew up around was had a single parent. It was just their mom. There wasn't a lot of dads around. So I'm saying, like, that kind of lends back to the point. Like, when you do that 25% you do see, most of the time it's a mom and not a dad. So if like we said before, if a dad is just visible, like if they're just show up every once in a
Yeah.
while, they're like
Well,
the greatest thing ever. And like,
and because of that percentage, we kind of expect moms to be good at single parenthood.
yeah,
But if you see a dad, or I know if I see a dad and he's a single parent, say his wife has passed away or something like that, okay? That would be one of the hardest things for me to imagine, trying
yeah,
to raise my family and provide for my family at the same time. Because you already feel as a dad that you spend a lot of time providing and working and doing these other things, that you're already not there enough for them. Could you imagine being the only parent?
yeah.
I mean, the pressure of
And
that would be so crazy.
even to go even further than that, you just said it. I mean, it kind of goes with what number two says with Chat GPT. With lowered expectations be number one, stereotyping is number two. I'm just going to piggyback with what you just said. Most of the time, if you saw a single dad, you said it, you would think they're a single dad because something unfortunate happened to the child's mother,
Right.
like she passed away, something like that. If you see a single mom, what is the stereotype of a single mom? Where's the dad? What's the stereotype that dad has?
Yeah. I mean, well,
They're a deadbeat.
again,
They didn't want to be around. They left their children. They don't care for the kid. They're just out there being baby
well,
daddies to other women and
but
all that kind of stuff.
I would say, hold on. I would say that with the number being at 25%, that we're going to have to look at it and say that it's not all complete negative that on all of those where the dad is. Because
No.
we do know that there's a lot of dads out there that want to be parts of their kids' lives and want to be involved, and they're not exactly those that have to go through divorce. It's not like it's very easy for them to be able to do that most of the time.
Yeah, I'm just talking about, just that's the expectation. Like, if you're a dad and you're not with your kids, you must have done something wrong. As opposed to if you're a dad that's a single parent, something tragic happened to the mom. All right. So number two, again, with stereotyping, this is what Chat GPT says. It says fathers are often stereotyped as, quote, breadwinners and providers, while mothers are stereotyped as, quote, nurturers and caregivers. These stereotypes can lead to assumptions about what roles fathers and mothers should play in their families and in society as a whole. So GPT says that
So we're stereotyping.
we should be the fathers should be like, and you mentioned it, you
Yeah,
said
I
it's
know.
that
I
led
know.
to mothers having entering the workforce too, with inflation and stagnation of wages. But we're looked upon to be the people, the family leader of the household that earns the money, and the moms are the ones that are supposed to take care of the kids.
Yeah. No, I mean that
so
is
if those so if those roles are flipped or switched, does the dad looked at in a negative light?
by some people. I mean, people are judgy on a whole lot of things. I don't
Yeah,
think it depends on each situation. If your wife has a certain set of skills or talents that makes it to where she can make, more money than you can or a better living than you can, and that would give you an opportunity to go do something else, raise the kids, be there, be there or whatever. Maybe she's doing that and you're trying to chase your dream of something else and kind of start that off and get it off the ground. I don't see
see,
anything wrong with that.
not necessarily wrong with it, but I think it's just in general people just, oh, you're a stay-at-home dad, oh, you don't have a job, oh, you must not be any good, oh, your wife puts up with you. Like, I watch a different type of TikTok than you, but if you've been paying any sort of attention to what's been going on lately in society, that at least on the TikToks I watch, because again, my TikTok feed is different than yours. All these women that say that they've got to be with men who make over, six figures a year, and they've always got to be able to, they've got to have the nice house
Well,
and the
think
nice
about, isn't
car
it their same
and be
thing?
established in their business and all this, and they just want to stay at home and look pretty.
And then don't you love the ones to where they break it down for these girls and they're like, okay, so you say 6 figures a year. Well, let's drop that down and let's call it 70 grand a year. And you say 6 foot and let's say, okay, well, let's drop that down to 5'10". And then let's see. So it's uh
So you watch the same TikToks I watch, yeah.
I
So
see some of the same stuff. Okay, so it's 6 foot, 6 figures. We won't even bring the other one into it. Uh the other six into it. We'll leave that out. All right. So they said, okay. So they said, there's your five. We went under 6 foot. They went under 100 grand, and they threw in uh that they would be single and that they would be not obese. So they wouldn't guarantee you good looking, but they'll give you not fat. Okay.
yeah.
And you've seen the same TikTok. So what
Mm-hmm.
percentage of men fit into those just
It was
those
like
categories
less
where they
than one
dropped it?
percent.
Less than 1%. That's right.
Yeah. And
Less
the
than
thing is,
1%.
and what was funny with that was that guy they're talking about, that's less than 1% that they're looking for. That dude is not looking for that woman who's requesting all that from him. Because if he's got all that going on, he has complete and total pick on who or whatever he wants to choose. And
He
she would probably be on the bottom of his list
he
with
has
the
a
things
lot of
that he would look
options,
for.
and one of those options doesn't have to be monogamous. Then that's something that they have to look at too. But anyway, yes, we see some of the same TikTok stuff. But yes,
Yeah.
I like that, and just watching. He let all the girls pick out percentages before he
Mm-hmm.
told
It's
them.
like a dude calculator online. You can find it. I forgot the TikTok, but
And
yeah,
they're all like 10, 12%, 17%, 20%. It's like, no. You have no idea what's
yeah,
actually going on in the
you
world.
yeah. All right. So number 3 is stigmatization. Says here, fathers who take on more caregiving responsibilities, such as staying at home with their children or working part time, may be stigmatized by others who believe they should be focused on their careers and providing for their families financially.
I think that kind of plays into the one before it.
Yeah, I think it's most dads. The stereotype is if you don't provide for your family, you're not good enough to be a father. But then if it works out, as you mentioned earlier, in your family's best interest for the dad to stay home with their kids and work part time so that their kids are more involved in their lives, even then society like sticks a label on you.
That's right.
And yeah, so
And I also don't know that while the strong father figure is absolutely necessary and needs to be there, I don't know if you remove the mother from the scenario that you get the same benefits from the father as you would with both of them. Does that make sense?
yeah, I think so.
To where
I'm
I
not gonna lie, I read that and I wish I could work part time. I would love for my wife to work full time and I work part time. My kid would still go to daycare because he needs that socialization, but he wouldn't be at daycare all day, every day,
oh no,
because
she'd have you
that would just give
doing
me a few hours in the morning to play video games and go to the gym and stuff like that. But
okay. So I
I'd
mean,
work part
if you're
time.
doing stuff to better yourself, you're going to be around and you're going to be a better husband and a better father. That's fine. I mean, I don't think I mean, if you're going to stay and take care of the house and things like that too, I mean, there's nothing horribly wrong with that. But
Speaking of which, I got a special guest. He came back
oh,
in. He's got a maraca. Yeah, he's right there.
okay.
So yeah, so that's Chat GPT. The fourth one it says is lack of lack of support. And we've talked about this before, and I'm part of a Facebook dads group where it talks about where dads don't have a place to open up and discuss the issues they have in regards to parenting and being a husband and being a father and all that kind of stuff. We tried to hide maracas in this room I'm in, and he came in and went
them.
straight to where the maraca might have been, and he's just jamming out now. And my wife's looking at me, "Hey, babe, love you." Like, so yeah, lack of support, and we've talked about that before. Like, who do we go to like vent?
Yeah, no,
and talk about dad stuff.
And that's tough. And there's a lot of guys out there that don't have that. And the only problem, like with a lot of the online support groups and stuff like that, is I feel like you need a pretty wide ranging group that have a lot of different ages and experiences and lifestyles in there, because it seems like, from what I understand, a lot of those groups turn into like echo chambers, to where it's people, the same type of people going through the same thing, and there's a whole lot of everybody talking about how bad it sucks and not telling you options, or how everything's going to turn around later, and looking at it from different perspective. It's just, hey, have you ever been through this? Yeah, I'm going through this now. It's horrible. Yeah. Everything's bad, and just dwelling on that. Whereas some outside perspective from somebody that's been through it and moved on with their life, or, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
everything on that, on this one in particular, it's some good things are sprinkled in, but it's mostly divorce, 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 no sex, no sex, no sex, divorce, 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 no sex, no sex, no sex. Like, so that's literally
that you're on that hamster wheel right there. That's all it is.
And there's hundreds of comments on all of those. He wants me to hold him. So yeah. Okay. So lack of support is what ChatGPT says.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
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 That's right.
And then number.
Mama.
And that's all he has to say about that.
I didn't do like that.
All right, and then number 5, again, this is all, hey guys, with the exception of this right here, this is all artificial intelligence giving us these.
Yeah, these are not necessarily our telling us what's up. Our perspectives. This is all just from ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Okay, what was number 5?
Hey, what's number 5? What's number 5? I have no clue what he's saying right now. Number 5 says legal bias.
Legal bias, okay.
Legal bias. Basically saying that the court system favors mothers more than fathers.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt about that. Do you? I mean,
and granted, I hope to never, my son's grabbing my microphone. I hope to never have to deal with the legal system in terms of how to deal with this guy right here with my wife. Hold on, buddy. Hold on.
Let me go.
I want to.
Let me go.
Let me go.
And yeah, I don't want to go through legal issues with my spouse, but yeah, it's definitely geared or more in the mom's favor in that regard, because they're the ones that seem to take more of the hit, I guess, in terms of the household, where the fathers take more of the hit in terms of providing for their kid.
I mean, is it really though? I don't know. That'd be a whole different episode on its own, because you can talk about, there is no doubt there is legal bias to mothers and women.
So that's what ChatGPT says. Those are the 5 it gives. They said it is no particular, it's not necessarily in the order and saying that legal bias is the least, the one with the least, and the other one's the one with the most. Yeah, I'm baby. See, look at me. I'm being a father right now, spending time with my child.
Oh, you almost said babysitting. You almost said
did say babysitting, because that's what society tells me to say.
Yeah.
But Now he found a bunch of old bottles
Okay.
and sippy cups. So I'm gonna read you what ChatGPT how it finishes it up. So again, if you don't have an account with this thing already, not saying you should. I mean, maybe one day you're gonna help
Yeah.
the robots to take over, but it says this. It is important to recognize that fathers and mothers both play important roles in their children's lives, and that parenting responsibilities should be shared and valued equally. By challenging stereotypes and biases, we can create a more supportive and inclusive environment for all parents and their families. That's ChatGPT.
Yeah. Okay. Again, I have some issues with some of ChatGPT's societal opinions in there. Like I said, I'd rather get just straight facts, but I guess that's not what it's designed for. But overall,
I mean, I
I
could
think,
ask for statistics. Want me to ask for statistics real
no,
quick?
no, it's fine. That's another episode. We're gonna have to wrap it up. But I mean, I think overall that's a decent list.
Yeah. So we'll try it again. I think this was fun. Now, granted, maybe my son won't run in for the second time in a row on an episode, but hey, that's what parenting's all about.
Yeah, yeah. That's life as a dad right there. That's dad life. But all right, well,
Wait,
I
so
think that was a good episode. Do you? I
yeah, I
mean,
do
I
too.
like it.
We
All right,
went really deep too. We go deep. We're we got
philosophical.
philosophies.
Yeah, yeah. We think stuff.
Philosophical.
We
That's the
think
word I was
stuff
looking
up
for.
here. Y'all don't even worry about
Philosophical. Philosophical was the word I was looking for. I used to be an English teacher,
it.
surprisingly.
But all right, well, guys, let us know. Comment. Just let us know what else y'all want us to look at, and what do you want us to talk about? What do you want us to ask ChatGPT about? We're open for all that.
Yeah.
We're still figuring our formats out here. As y'all see, this show's kind of change up a little bit. So we're just open to feedback. What do you think, Jermaine?
Yeah, I'm good with that. If you want to sponsor our show, you can do that too.
Yeah.
Just saying. You want to throw a little money our way.
There you go. All right.
All right, guys. You can sign us off. You can sign us off.
All right. We'll see y'all guys next time. And us and AI will be back, and we'll see what we come up with to talk about.